It's all too complicated though.
R?
Well, R, I've been doing some R because I built it into SQL Server 2016. But R is like writing math.
So it's a language that's created for mathematicians, not in this program.
It was designed for statistical analysis, statistical sets. I mean, that was what R was designed for. So Python is easier, but partially because Python is wordy. I mean, it has words instead of just most of the variable names and keyword names in R are like single letter or 3 letters. They're just really concise, and they're both essentially functional languages, which means that they're not built. You don't build objects; you build functions. With Python, you can do objects, but that's not their basic nature. So I'm not even sure I have this script from last time, but I can get it.
I don't have a functional script from last time.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the blog and get it for me. If you guys have one from last time, you can use it. So Conger ITC blogspot.com, and it's the last one. No, that's MySQL SQL, so it's not the last one. It's the one before that.
We're gonna run it again.
No, we shouldn't have to run it, but I want to cut and paste parts of it into the. Actually, I don't need that last part. That was the part that put us into a loop forever.
So, like, does this one not have the pesky string in it?
I don't want the MySQL SQL. Yes, this one is fine. This is the version that does not put you into. The reason I'm doing this 2 seconds worth of review, also it will, as I said, we'll cut and paste parts of it into the SSIS script. So just real quickly reviewing, we have the database, we made the Metro Alt DW. If you don't have the Metro Alt DW, you probably want to run this script again. Now I have that Metro Alt DW1. Is there, which is my good one? All right, I should be able to execute this, and it should eliminate the Metro Alt DW and replace it with the good one, and put in all the data.
And was that on the end of the blog or at the very beginning of the blog?
It should be near the top.
The second entry. Okay.
Okay, so it worked and it's done. So Metro Alt DW is not good for me. I don't know, it might have been before.
So on the blog spot, is the commented, is the stuff
You don't,
that's coming down?
the part that's commented out is the part that put us into the infinite loop. Well done, infinite,
Okay.
but the huge loop that killed the machines.
Okay.
So I just ran the script again just to make sure my Metro Alt is good. Again, you don't have to do that if your Metro Alt is good. And so I will ignore Metro Alt DW1, or I'll delete it, one of the two. So I had a database diagram before. Oh, it doesn't have a valid owner. Oh, that's Metro Alt. I don't care about Metro Alt. So I want a database diagram. There shouldn't be one there, but I'll just do yes. And we'll just review real quickly what this looks like, and then we'll go to the SSIS. Oh, I have to do it again.
You highlight all the tables?
Yeah, so what I usually do to make the diagram is I just do
New.
and then a new diagram. First thing it'll tell you is that you don't have the tools that you need.
Yes.
Do you want them? You say yes.
Yeah.
And then you have to come back and do new again, and then I'm going to add and close. And then I'm going to change my zoom, I think, to about 75% just to get it all on there, even though I know you can't see the fields as well that way. And this is the basic star layout. There are some other ones. I'm trying to remember what they call the other layouts. What the difference between the star and the other layouts is that the other snowflakes. In the snowflake, there's oftentimes relationships between the spurs. That's basically the difference between that layout and this. As to which one works better, I don't know. It probably depends on how your data is structured. The other thing is that a database like AdventureWorks might have several of these built into it. Every fact table would have its own set of DIMs, right? But they don't necessarily relate to each other. Okay, and the thing that's really hard about this and would take some practice and that I'm not super good at is this is a different way of thinking about the data. You're used to a relational structure. You're used to how you separate things out into sets. This is a different kind of structure. It's still relational in that it's key, foreign key based, but it's a very different structure. And it can take a lot of practice to figure out how to do this. All right, so that's kind of review. Oops.
So you just bring on. Do you not have the paper?
It's right there.
You just start.
Is that the whole script?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to do the script again, but let's go to the top of the script. So it should drop Metro LPW.
Did we have to change a couple things? No, that was gold.
Invalid object name. Let's see. Metro LPW begin and go. Go, use, go. That looks good. What is it? It should just run. But it's not Metro Aldi Street, Metro Aldi W.
It's, yeah, the metro, it's going to collecting the data from here.
Oh, that's where it's failing?
Yeah, it's saying that table doesn't exist.
Because you don't have get Metro Aldi W. Sorry, we do.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah. Let's look at that. Double click that area.
Which cool part of that?
Inner part of it. Inventory selected from Metro Aldi. Even though it's actually looks okay. Looks okay. Try running it again, see if we get the same error from the top. That is fine. So your employee, looks like PBO employee. Weird that it goes all the way down to there. There's no difference in this value. That's weird. Why not run? So just run it everything up until the leave it empty. But so I created you have the database. One of the things you could do is you could just wait, because we're going to, basically the first thing we're going to do in the SSIS is empty the database anyway.
Okay.
And then we'll do the inserts again. We'll just try it. Yeah.
I exit the blogspot created.
Yeah. This is not been nice, like, first.
Right, you can't drop it.
But it's good that I broke it my machine.
So you have to close that.
So it's getting really nasty.
Oh, really?
My two instances running on my machine.
Anybody else?
The second instance is for a while now.
Oh,
So I installed it. I
Yeah.
installed it back before.
yeah.
I did like 3 times. I installed it and installed it.
Doesn't matter. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter how it's laid out. As long
So we're gonna go and set up that.
We're doing like, I don't remember the name
Yeah,
of it, but it's up north. So,
I'm not sure why you do that, but I think it doesn't matter.
You really have to
Yeah, I think maybe I should
yeah,
just.
yeah, it's fun.
If you
Get
could,
out of town.
Yeah.
I just had a great night.
Oh, yeah. Well, this one's gonna be a 2-nighter. So we're gonna have to carry heavier packs, but I guess there's lots of streams that are delayed. It's kind of, it's up off of, Highway 2. But, yeah, I think it's up at 22.
You're ambitious.
So, that's the name of it
you
again.
want to see the diagram, it's right there.
I think it's a lesser travel. It sounds- But this is, again, this is mostly just review, since it's been forever since we were in class together. Yeah.
I'm having a problem with diagram.
What does it say?
Well, this one's.
To the right. Select them all. Doesn't have a valid thing, but you're doing that with natural law. I can give you a valid ownership for the ticket. We just have to go into the properties and set that only to SA. All right, so are we ready for the SSIS? So I'm going to do the Visual Studio, just start Visual Studio data, SQL Server data tools, actually. SQL Server, where are the data tools? There they are. They are coming out with new SQL Server 2017 is in its second release. Second stage, it's not its final release yet. It used to be that they would update SQL Server about every 4 or 5 years. Now they're doing it annually.
I noticed their updates are more frequent, or just, I have 17, and they're more frequent, but they don't take nearly as long to install.
Yeah, well, they're working on, they're doing like, most places are doing like what they call DevOps, they're just constantly, constant upgrade, constant deployment. It drives me nuts. There's no way to keep up. I don't know.
Oh,
So we're gonna do a new project, and this one will be, before we do the business project, we're going to do another integration services project, because this will be to the, and I didn't rehearse this weekend, so if I fumble a little, apologies ahead of time.
I just use the default.
Yeah, just, oh, I didn't mean to do it as a default name. Do you want to go back and rename it?
I haven't made up.
Integration services project.
Right, I'm going to do it again. And I'll do it, I'll just give it a name. Metro Alt DW. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, so I will do okay, and we'll do it over again. The default would have worked, but so this is a little different in that I'm going to depend a lot on the execute SQL task. So I'm going to bring this in, and I think the first thing I want to do is drop all of the constraints. So typically what you do is you go through, you drop all the constraints, you depopulate the tables, then you repopulate the tables, and then you add the constraints back in. You know, that's so dropping the constraints makes it so that it doesn't matter what order you do things in, basically. And then you can do it. It's just a way of, so you don't want to add the data to what's already there. I mean, that would be a whole lot harder just to incrementally decide, well, what's new and what isn't. So what you do is you just empty the data warehouse, repopulate it entirely from the new data, from whatever the current database is.
And the constraints are like private key, foreign key.
Yeah, the constraints are like primary key, foreign key mostly. And again, the trouble with leaving them in place up front is that they could cause you to throw all sorts of errors if things come in the wrong order or something. So, I mean, this is just a fairly typical script for this kind of thing when you're doing a data warehouse from a single source. Again, you could do a data warehouse from multiple sources. You might do this to get it from the relational database and then have another component of this, another data flow component to bring it in from Mongo or something, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to call it drop constraints. I'm going to double click it. Come on, double click. All right, so general, it's an execute SQL thing. Now it needs a connection. So if you go down here, there is a connection. We need a connection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click there, and there is a little drop-down list. So basically, it doesn't remember any of our connections, so I'm going to do a new connection. This connection doesn't work anyway. So we have Metro Alt and we have Community Assist, but I need a new one. And localhost, no, actually it's ITC /ITC224_6 for me. Windows authentication. The database I want, is it not like this? Do I have to do the whole name?
With the drop down.
Yeah, it does, actually. There we go. I want Metro Alt DW. test the connection, which tells you not much, but it does say it's there.
Nothing's showing up.
So you're not getting anything on the dropdown? If you don't find anything, I'm sure you could type what's here.
Yeah. Not sure what it's spelled for.
For those of you with your own laptop, just try localhost.
Oh, because mine is actually PW1.
Oh,
So,
that shouldn't matter for the other one. I mean, you just didn't see. Before you do, I mean, if it isn't in the drop-down list,
is that,
it means the server. You need to change your server. Use the drop-down list, and then use the second one. And then you should be able to see.
oh. There we go. Thank you.
Anyone else? So I'm going to connect. I'm going to do OK. And OK. Okay, so we have our connection. Now there's another cute, really important thing here, which is the SQL statement. So there's a little box that you get to write your SQL statement.
Are you recording this by any chance?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good.
That is tight.
You can make it bigger. So you could, if you maximize it, it'll take over the whole screen. Now we could write this here. Sometimes it's easier to write it in the Management Studio and then paste it here. So let's do that real quickly. I'm just going to go here. Let's do a brand new. So actually, from Metro Alt DW, I'll do a new query. So what we want to do is we want to drop all of these constraints. Actually, we have the other scripts, right? I'm going to go get it.
How come you're not doing this in?
I'm going to copy and paste it across. So we have all these constraints. I'm going to copy them over to the other script so I can review them. I don't need all of the, I just need all the alter tables.
Oh, I think those are all at the bottom.
So let's go here. This is just for reference. Basically what I need to know is I want to drop constraint FK dim employee. I want to drop constraint FK dim class. Where are the PKs? Do I have them? I didn't copy them. Maybe I did. Yeah, so we need to drop all of these by name. One of the reasons I did the alter tables, one, we're going to add them all back in. Two, because we named them explicitly, the names make sense. So it's easier to do this. So the script that we need is down here. I'm just going to do a, so we need to drop constraint. I think I might need to say alter table drop constraint. So the first table was employee. What was my first? I could look, let's look, just open up the tables here. Well, they're in orders. Again, it doesn't necessarily matter. Actually, it might matter. I think what we have to do is we have to drop all the foreign keys first. Alter table. Let's do, most of the foreign keys are in fact schedule, right? Alter table fact schedule. Okay, and then drop FK employee. And then I think what we need to do is just do this over and over until we get rid of all the foreign keys. There's a reason why we have to drop the foreign keys first. You guys know what that referential integrity. Yeah, but otherwise you can't drop the primary keys because there's a dependent on them. So all of these will be essentially the same, except it'll be a different table. And I don't think it matters what order you do these. So let's do bus, bus route.
I think we,
I'm just doing the date. I'm just going alphabetically, except I did employee. Schedule. Okay, and then I think we can go through, that's all of them, right? And then we can do this, except this time we're going to drop constraint PK well, let me just actually I'm going to copy this one so I can have the PK in place. PK bus PK bus, oh god, date. If I'm misnaming anything, let me know. I tried to be real consistent. Is it bus route or a route? It's just route for the foreign key and the primary key. Schedule. Oh, we have to change the tables on these though when we do the primary keys. So this is forward key. This would be employee. And this would be bus.
Is it dim employee or what?
It would be dim employee, thank you. See, I need you guys. And then the last one would be a fact schedule. We drop the fact schedule is correct here. And we would drop the primary key for fact schedule, spelled somewhat right. All right. That should do it. I'm going to copy them and then I'll show you the whole thing together. So I'm going back to here. I'm going to maximize for you guys' sake. I'm going to do this. Ooh, that's small. I could maybe zoom. Actually, I don't know that this has this.
Hey Steve, what was the last one you said that used fact schedule?
So we dropped the primary key there. I was just going to go to the,
Okay.
do we have a magnifier on this?
Yeah.
I think it might be fact schedule.
I think, does that gets most, let's see if I can just, well, not quite get all of it and be big. So anyway, and it's not all on screen either, is it? Can I get it over farther? There's alter table fact schedule, then we drop the constraint. So we go through each table and drop the foreign key. And actually the foreign keys are all in fact schedule. So we drop all the foreign keys in fact schedule. When we get to the primary keys, we go to dim employee and drop the primary key, dim bus and drop it, dim date, dim route. And I tried to do a naming convention where the primary key is always PK underscore in the name of the table, and the foreign key is always FK underscore and the name of the table that it comes from. This is the part of this, the logic of it is you drop all the constraints, you empty all the tables of data, you refill them, so we'll need our inserts, and then you re-add the constraints. Yeah.
Quick question. Is it case sensitive on the?
Should not be.
Okay, because I think I capitalized these.
SQL is never case sensitive.
Yeah.
Some of the times the values can be, but the SQL itself is
Like
never.
for variables?
Yeah, or so if you you can set it so by values the data in the tables, like when you're doing queries, there is an option under the database properties where you can make it case sensitive. But it's not by default. And then there are other things like MySQL has a built-in rule which you can violate, but the built-in rule is that everything is lowercase. And it'll give you a warning about that, but it won't prevent you from doing it. It's just a naming convention. You can do the same in SQL Server. There are rules that you can put in place.
You do that hard code.
Yeah. And you could make it a rule that every table name has TBL in front of it if you want. All right, you guys got this?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to unzoom first. So I'm going to do OK. Now, one of the things, but in order to do this, I have to change bypass prepare. I have to change it to false. Basically, what it's set to true is, it says don't parse my SQL. I'm confident that it's good, right? Which is faster. But if you turn it to false, then you can hit this little thing that says parse query, and it'll tell you if you have any syntax errors. It won't tell you if you have any naming errors. It'll just tell you if you have any syntax errors. That's actually useful to do if it's a complicated thing, just to make sure. And then if you want to turn it back to true for the, for the actual processing, you can. Is there anything else that I need to know here? We don't have any parameters coming in. Parameters would be if you're bringing in variables. There's not really a result set from this, and there's no equations that we're doing. So it's just this general thing. I'm pretty sure that's all we need for this. The other thing is you could do this all in a single SQL query. Everything I'm going to do, you could do it in a single one of these. But to me, it makes more sense to have a few execute tasks and have each task do one thing. It's just, I think, better for your brain when you're trying to debug things. And so the next one is going to be to empty all the tables. We could have done that. We could have dropped the constraints, dropped all the data, added all the data back in, and added all the constraints in one of these if we wanted. I've seen people do that. It just, to me, modularizing it makes it a lot simpler. So I'm going to do another execute SQL task. I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to do the same connection. We don't have to recreate that here. But we do need a new SQL statement.
Oh, my
What was the
connection
name of this
didn't.
task?
What?
What was the name of
It's an SQL task.
Oh, there it is.
Execute SQL task. There's really two. It's really hard to see over here because my thing is not picking up the whole.
I think he's saying what to name the actual.
Oh, what you named it? I called it. Did I name it? I haven't named it yet. I could close this and do that. So if I name it, I would just say truncate tables. Because that's what we're going to do. Okay, so it didn't save the connection, but I'll just use the DW connection. SQL statement, you can click this, you can make it bigger. I will zoom it a little for you. Although, when I zoom it, I'm not sure, this isn't fitting on the screen exactly right. I guess let's zoom it and not maximize. So this one you could do in the thing, or you can just do it here. It's basically truncate table. So if we went through in order, there was bus, right? Truncate table. Do you guys know what was the next one? Oh yeah, dim bus. Well, we could do employee. We just need to make sure we do all the tables. It shouldn't matter what order because we've dropped the constraints. We had route, date. And these should have dims in front of them. And then it's just the fact one, right? Fact schedule. If we miss one, we'll have a
Is there
mess.
also a order schedule?
No, I think there's just truncate table fact schedule. I don't know that it matters what. All right. Is that all the tables? So you guys know what truncate does, right?
Cuts off, right?
No, it empties it. It's like delete all.
Okay. Just cut off drops.
It does not drop the table, no. It just empties it of all data. Now, I'm going to close this again, or minimize it, and then bring it back. So I'm going to set this to false, just to make sure. And table dim, and oh, I have a space missing. I'm missing a space. So if you click here again, you can hit the three dots. And where am I? Right here. See, it's really good to parse just for that kind of error. And again, if you want to, if performance matters after, you can turn that back to true. Having a so what we've dropped all the constraints, got rid of all the data. Still have an error.
I'm just
Again, I'm going to do another SQL task. I'm just moving this over here for the screen. actually, before I do that, let's name it. What do we want to name it? This one, we're going to insert the data from the database. I'm just going to call it get data. And it's the same thing as always for these. And then we'll have a SQL statement. This, and you could probably, if you really wanted to modularize, do it with each table, but I'm going to do all the tables together.
Did you link that?
I did. There's a green arrow there. So I am going to, on this screen, unlike say the, when we did the last one, all of our stuff here is just SQL. They're all on the outer side of the, basically the data flow task, the highest level. So the data isn't flowing from one to the other. It's just sequencing. The arrow just sequences them. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to go to my script, the original script. Here we go. I am going to copy all of my inserts. Don't copy the one that killed us, but all the way down through the fact table. And then I'm going to go back here and paste them in. Let me maximize that a little bit. See, there's a lot there. Do you want me to zoom through these? So I have insert into dim employee. Just make sure you have all of the different inserts. If you want, I can zoom through them one at a time.
Is the last line on their key?
Yes. I will just real quickly, I'll zoom through them real quickly. So insert into employee, right? Just make sure that that's there. Insert into dim bus, so dim employee, and dim bus, and then dim route, dim schedule, then dim date, and then the really hairy one, insert into fact schedule.
If you were doing the data flow for just the Metro Alt, would you do the data flow with Metro Alt, and then would you just do this after the same SSIS?
Probably. I'm not sure if I understand the question entirely.
Just so that both of them are updated simultaneously.
So MetroAlt, the theory is that it would be a live database. So the changes would be happening in it.
So you wouldn't even have access.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have to do that. This is just to bring, so if you had an active database, which ours is not, right? But if you had a really active database where there were a lot of changes happening, you probably want to analyze it offline. And how often you would run this depends sort of how often you want to refresh your data for doing that. So you could do it weekly, monthly, daily, however often it makes sense to refresh the data in your database. Also, once you had all the business intelligence things in there, when you refresh your database, all of those diagrams and charts and stuff would refresh and update too. So once you had this all set up, it would be a matter of just clicking or even putting it on a timer, having it run, and filling up your data, just to see how things have changed over time. But yeah, and if your data is pretty stagnant, you wouldn't have to do it very often. Right? If your data is really active, you might want to do it more often. But the idea is you don't usually want to do your analysis off the living database because it can slow things down. Typically, this would be on not a whole different server, right? Just so the database, the transaction server isn't slowed. All right, I'm going to unzoom. This is a really important one to, so I'm going to do OK. I think this is a really important one to parse because it's complicated. So it says it parsed. Again, all the parsing guarantees you that the syntax is correct. It doesn't guarantee that the names and connections are proper.
Guarantee that you like inserted the right data into the right table.
No, yeah, it just tells you that there's no syntax, there's no missing commas, there's no failures.
What's number 3, the name of number 3, execute and scroll?
I just called it get data, and I didn't put the green thing here, but when I get this, I will put it there. I'm just going to do OK because we do need the flow. And I'm going to do one more, which is to add back the constraints. And again, the point of doing it here rather than just having a script in the thing is that you could automate this, right? I suppose you could automate a script too, actually, but that's not. And these could be really complicated. We're just moving things into the data warehouse from one database. A lot of businesses bring it in from multiple databases and spreadsheets and maybe a NoSQL database. They might be bringing it all into one thing. So you might have something like this that populates from the SQL, and you might have a data flow that populates into the, from Mongo or something. It could be more complicated. These could be intensely and insanely complicated, actually. So this is the last. This task is to get, and if I want, let me kill this. I can do the arrow. And if I name it, this would be, I'm going to say add constraints. And the connection is the same connection. The SQL statement should be what we already had. So at the very beginning, right after we did the tables, it should just be all these alter tables all the way down to before the inserts. Okay. So where we're adding the primary keys and foreign keys back. Why can't I just select it right to there? But I don't want that right now. Let's go here. I'll paste. We'll walk through them. I'll magnify. Okay. So first of all was to add all the primary keys to the dim tables. So I did dim employee, dim bus, dim route, dim schedule, dim date. And we also did the fact schedule. So it's just adding the primary keys back in. You have to do the primary keys first because the foreign keys are dependent on them. And then you do the foreign keys. And so we alter the fact table and add each of the foreign keys. And again, I just copied what we did. That's one of the reasons why we did this script last time, is just to be able to copy and paste it, to know what we're doing, hopefully. So I'm doing OK. Let me get the zoomed out. And again, I'm going to say bypass is false. And I'm going to parse the query, and it says that it's good. So to do OK. This is actually our whole SSIS for this. Which went pretty fast, if it works. We may get errors, I don't know. We'll try it here. Unlike the other one we did, this one won't cause a lot of bad data in the data warehouse because the first couple things we did is to drop everything. So, but it could leave you with an empty data warehouse. Shall we try to run it? I'm going to start it. Nope, I have an error right away.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Yours worked? What is the difference?
I got the same thing.
Zeros.
Foreign key employee is not a constraint. It's foreign key dim employee.
Oh.
Package execution completed.
So I'm going to go back. I stopped it. I'm going to go back to the control flow. Stop constraints. I'm going to look at the SQL. And I may have.
Mine says
It's probably dim employee.
employee already has.
Are all of these, when I did them, they're probably dim employee, dim bus, right? On all of them? Here, I can look. Let's look at like dim employee. Let's look at the keys, dim employee. Let's look at the fact table too.
Are you looking at the drop constraint?
I did FK schedule. That's stupid. But all the others are dim.
Let me look.
So I think that it's
Is it the back schedule? Is that dim?
it's dim. See, like FK dim, dim bus, dim route, dim date. I did and then it's dim. I did schedule as just schedule for the foreign key because I cannot do anything consistent.
Oh, so the primary key is the dim.
Yeah. Not only the primary key, the foreign key also.
Oh, well, I have that.
So primary key schedule. I just want to look. Did I do schedule? Was dim schedule or should have? Yes. And I think that should be it. That one should be correct.
On the
On the what?
oh, I think I did this maybe when you're done.
Well, if you look at it, I will look. What I did is I just did the names of the tables without the dim. But with each one of them, it was the dim employee, dim bus, dim route, dim date. The foreign key for schedule, I did wrong. I just did it as schedule. And the way I looked in my thing. See, I have foreign key, dim bus, dim date, dim employee, dim route, but only foreign key schedule.
Oh, so we have to take that off.
Yeah, that one is wrong.
So on the
Oh, yeah.
foreign keys?
Yeah, foreign keys. Dims. Foreign key doesn't have a dim there. Everything else has a dim in front of it.
And the primary key is that way as well?
So the primary keys. So
I have dims.
dim employee, dim bus, dim date, dim route, dim schedule, and then fact
So
schedule.
that's okay.
Yeah.
I still got an error after making the dim changes.
Well, let's see.
It's on the app constraints.
I may have misspelled them then too. Oh,
I got, yeah, I got green checkboxes on everything but the app constraint.
Now let's look at what's in the app constraints. So first let's look at the error. Okay, correct. The last tab.
Last
Get schedule already. So I think you might have declared it twice. Yeah. So just skip it over to the- No, that didn't work in error though. So you got. Did you not drop that one? Which one was it that you said that you had there? So look at the first one and see if you got it. So, couple of things if it fails. Actually, find the error. Did you, so let's look at
I think I was supposed to.
that's just, back to there. Yeah, and then let's open up that, the top. Yeah, we keep that. So let's look at what we got. We got elder table, drop and start criteria. You need to drop the important keys before you drop the common keys. So I just dropped these first. Yeah,
Oh. I think that might be, so the foreign key, and you said that, and I don't know why. So.
Oh, so it's got PK, let's look at your. So that was the thing where you're dropping.
Yeah.
Let's look at your table. The database. So we've added a constraint. So it should be a constraint.
There's no constraint in the table, in the database, in the keys under inventory. Mine doesn't have something to add.
Yeah, maybe just to add a, when I drop this right for no problem. Here, because it's not, it's being used to recognize. Well, no, it's only within it's basically because, I think the key didn't get dropped. I mean, you need to flip it, right? Oh, now you're down there. Okay, so let's look at that. I'll be over there in a moment.
Okay.
database. Oh, you shouldn't be dropping the database. Where are you dropping the database? So I did that. Oh, you know what? You don't want the whole script.
So just,
You just want the instance. So these are, you don't need that.
so I think you have to go back to, if there wasn't, so alter table, let's go to,
You did this one, right? Let's look at your error again. It says there's no data for it. Oh, so it's a foreign key. So it should be in the fact table. Let's look first at your script here. Yeah, I'm looking at something about it. So it's not the output, it's, okay, there we go. Just very first step. But if this is from after fixing the other error, I mean, 4 years of this way, but we did it. Let's see. I can stream. I, let's run the script here. On all of that. I'm not sure, I'm trying to get the. Actually, let's stop this. So you're dropping the one.
Do you have the code for the mod? I think it's better just to run whole single line because I have to like add foreign key.
Right, if
every
it
single one.
fails on the foreign key thing,
And I just isn't better just to do it.
that's what I was thinking of doing right here, is just to.
make the metro either way you can, right?
Yeah, I think I will. It's currently in use, because of these. Yeah. Let's see, so these are what you actually put in. This is the draft. Inventory, ingress. Super base. No, it's dim bus, it's not. Why is this? Made it past it.
It's not working. We do call up the loss.
No, not.
Still throwing the same error.
What's you guys there?
It's showing
This
the,
one is just not seeing the primary, the keys.
Yeah, mine's saying that I don't have constraints.
yeah, my same error I have.
That is your error.
It's something
Foreign key dim
something
employee is not
different,
constrained.
Right, like.
Yeah, I think I
Mine
got
is
that
like
same
a
one.
consultative value, so I have to like edit the query every time. That's something that's right in the table.
So let's look at your error.
Dim employee is not constrained.
Right, and that's what you're getting. Why did mine work?
Yeah, I got that same error too.
Because
Okay.
yours was executed for the first time,
Right, once it's failed.
yeah, so half of the part gets written in that case. But for me, there was employee key was not getting written as a primary key and other parts were getting
figure it out?
inserted into the.
Well, so what you should
Maybe
be
it's
able
because I'm
to
including all this stuff.
Do, if you have to, is like run the whole script again.
No. Suppose we are inserting 5 primary keys and 4 got inserted, so we need to remove all those, the values.
Right, but if I ran the whole script again, the script should be
No.
back at the,
No, it says that it already exists.
oh, it already exists.
Suppose the primary foreign key has been written and it failed in between, so it says like the foreign key is already there, so you cannot execute.
But if you
the-
delete the,
Yes, so I have done like whatever is being successful, I have been removing that and executing it, so it works.
and it worked.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you
Yeah.
totally wipe the database with a
Yeah.
new database.
So you have to do it.
So,
So what happens, and you can edit it, but what happens is you probably have to go through. If it fails, some of the keys were removed and some were not.
Yeah,
So what you have to do is you have to basically go through and run each of these one at a time, and you'll get an error or not get an error depending on if it had been removed or not.
why would that get?
What?
Why would it not be removed?
So if it failed, it's
Oh, it failed.
right. If it fails, it usually crashes at some point in the script.
So it doesn't just cancel the whole.
It doesn't roll it back.
I don't think I got very far in mine. It
Oh.
failed right away.
So
So
it's
once you
still
run it
on
once, then it's not
But I
gonna run
still
again.
don't know.
Once you've run it once, it won't. Well, so if it succeeded once, it'll succeed again. But if it failed,
no, it don't even succeed. If the primary key has been set, it says the primary key has been set, you cannot.
right. But I bet mine will run again.
So you have to do, there's a,
So every time you can either edit.
Well, this one should run again because the first thing it does is it drops the constraints.
Yeah, in that case.
it says keep FK dim schedules, not
constraints.
not
Not in the first query.
Yeah.
So for
So
me,
I think that's my
last
problem.
one was failing.
Yeah, you know,
Because you don't.
I didn't say that. If your
So it's
first
just.
Right. So if it fails somewhere in here, you have to go through and figure out which constraints did get dropped, and then you have to add them back.
I think it's good.
oh, you have to add them back.
Yes, you have to add them back.
Yeah.
Because it won't drop them if it can't find them, if they're already gone, it'll just crash here again. So if it made it partially through here, you have to go through and
Oh,
test each one to see which ones are still there. If it's not there, then add it back. All right. And if they don't get, if you get messed up in here, you may have to go through and figure out which constraints are there and which constraints are not also.
Do we have to take out any screenshots of this for homework? Or?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, ideally, it'd be something like this.
Okay.
I'm so confused about why some of them are running through and some of them aren't.
Well, there's no, each one is an individual template.
Yeah.
So it just breaks where it breaks.
Do you have to like
Goes through each statement. You have,
So that should be.
It's on the list of the classes already. Yeah.
you have to reverse that. You have to remove the foreign keys before you go. Oh. So let me walk through these again. The easiest way to reset,
Still don't know what's wrong with mine.
the easiest way to reset is to go to the database, find the original script. So this one, I just want to get that out of the way. And I did not do, so it's just the script here. I didn't do anything else. Now, in order to run it, you'd have to close everything that's related to it. All right, so you'd have to, the diagram, you have to close that. And I'm not going to save it because it's going to go away if I rerun the script. This one, this other, okay, that's where I am right now.
Do you have to close data tools?
No, you shouldn't have to close data tools. Let's see if that's the case, though. This script, I'm just going to disconnect. So this script isn't connected anymore. So I should be able to just run this script. Is something selected? Let's see. But this, so you could do this again, just reset the whole database. Or you can go through and test all of the keys, because that's where you get messed up. It worked that time. And then if you go to here, so let's walk through each of these scripts real quickly. So if you redo it, I mean, that's, so let's zoom this one. Okay. So again, one of the things, I'm not sure, you have to drop the foreign keys first. They have to go first. The other thing to make sure of, which the parsing doesn't tell you, is that you named them right. First time I ran it, I didn't name them right. I didn't have all the problems that you did because mine crashed on the first one.
See,
so it didn't do any.
I had the problem in that I included all the alter tables. So that included the create in the constraint.
All right, and you don't want to create them after you drop
So
them.
it just crashed. But I deleted those out and it's still.
Well, so, but you're still probably in some intermediate stage where some of these exist and some don't.
Okay.
Mine was just the on the script, it wasn't dim schedule.
Right, right. And I mentioned that this is a typo on my part, but it's in the script. I didn't do dim schedule. If you did, better, for you. But I just said foreign K schedule.
Well, maybe I should change.
So you drop all the foreign keys, and then you drop all the primary keys. I'll walk through each of these, and then we'll see. Some of you guys will.
I didn't
And
include,
mine's
I
exactly
didn't
what-
include them on.
Mine's
that.
exactly what you have up there. But
Oh, is it? So you might have to recreate the data. Looks like you just did it. No, you just run it. Just click the curve step on these ones. Just run it. Yeah, so we don't want to.
So I'm looking
Yeah, so hoping that it,
just remove that.
Make sure you have everything.
Oh, come on.
So now, no. Yeah.
What I'm doing is the same, like I just finished the report. And then we see how it is. And then have a get the data and then take it out again. And see something like that. But just individually.
Steve,
Yeah.
you still have the
You just,
one constraint error.
For which one?
Foreign key then employee. So you're saying I go to find the also table, the foreign
Yeah,
key
you just like, okay, then so this key is
that will
just
be
this stuff. You don't go through
then
that. Then you, after you add a constraint and everything, then you.
So it says
this says the employee is not constrained. Or maybe I'm doing the wrong thing.
no, the foreign key should all be in the fact schedule.
So this is the employee.
Yeah,
Is
it says it already exists.
this then the original? Because
I don't know, let's look at,
let's see.
Yeah, really, that's it.
This one.
so the error
Oh, wait,
is
that's. This is.
backdrop constraints.
He said it was on the board.
And you recreated the whole thing.
So that was the employee. So that'll be inside the fact schedule.
Right. If you look at the constraints.
So, if you would like to,
No, look
Either
at
the constraints.
either change
there's nothing on the constraints.
the one that's actually.
That means it's not being added, isn't it?
Or you can run this one out the div. If you take the div out of there and run it, I think you'll have.
So I have to add constraint again.
So one of the things you could do,
There's because there aren't any constraints added to other people also.
right, so you probably need to, I'll go refresh your table. Refresh over, and then look under the constraints. So you should be able to,
So it's not being added, basically, right? This part is not,
Okay.
right, because it's not,
yeah,
not added the constraint.
And then rerun this script.
But it says it is already.
You do have to. Yeah, you do have to. Yeah. And that's dependent on the
it
script.
should be, but it's giving you, do them one at a time. It says that's, just keep going.
Is that for sure and not save it?
It's really easy to make the end.
So.
So
Oh, because it stopped.
if you look at, the schedule, so the foreign key, oh, you do have div schedule in there.
So that's not.
You still have to run it, rerun it though, because
It's trying.
to give the constraints, anytime that you run it, you might have to rerun this again if it drops constraint. You can run that.
So it's basically query says it is successful, but it's not successful.
You just ran, yes, you want to rerun it.
Well, when you parse it, all it says is that it's
Yeah.
syntactically correct. So the way, if you screw up on a,
forming like the whole.
Let me see, I want to do this. If it drops, particularly on the first one, let me, the trick is to go through all of those alter queries, alter tables, and just run them one at a time. And most of them will give you this error. And that's fine. And you just keep doing each one until you find a couple that are not there. Here's what.
Yeah, my file.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe because
It
it's
got
popped on
dropped.
that one.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the real start there. Add that impact reflex schedule.
That was on.
How many have got it now and how many do not? You got it, you got it. Yours done.
Steve,
No.
Yeah.
I got screwed up early on, but I think I'm catching up. Can you look at what I've got right now?
Sure, and then I'll be over there.
So I'll show you what I've got so far. So I've got drop the constraints, truncate the tables,
Right.
then copy the data.
And that's where we're having
Okay, okay, because yeah, it's not coming out.
Let's look at this.
Yeah.
And then
Maybe
do,
we'll see what
that
that
should give us,
says.
oh, that's package edition. What I want is
Maybe
the,
schedule is not sure.
I want to have the preview errors.
Oh, PK Tim schedule. Oh, let's go back here and see if there's a private key one.
I wanted to see what the error. There's a thing that has them up.
Okay.
Let's do, view. I want to see the errors. There it is.
It was spelled right.
Copy, there were more. Errors. That doesn't tell me a lot.
How does it?
Let's look at it. I don't know if I can tell.
Like I got rid of it. Basically, I've been doing the query here.
Okay. So it should just be the inserts of the data. That's the part that was.
Yeah, and everything works fine until the last one gets to 0.
And you have exactly the same one I have.
I just copied it directly from the script.
So why would it be 0?
So it's the primary. But I wonder.
Oh, you know what it is? I found it. You know what it is?
Am I missing? Oh, it's in here twice. Okay, so do I need to clear it out again?
Yeah. So I delete that one.
So you run back
Do I
schedule.
have the
so it
back
gives you
schedule?
nothing.
Let me see how many. That's what. Yeah, that error is just yeah, it's twice there.
1, 2, 3,
What did you have?
10.
1, 2,
Duplicate keys. Object.
So the last one should be alter table back schedule. Drop them straight. Oh, PK back schedule.
Did I have that?
I forgot to truncate
You had,
the table.
Well, I'm
For your
sure.
last one, it would say
Did I-
back
that
schedule,
one.
schedule. Schedule. So go and do alter table. I think we got it. Figure this out.
Okay, good.
So,
I'll be back.
Alter table.
Okay.
You might ask.
And then, back
I
schedule.
don't know. We'll see. You guys got it done?
Just back schedule.
oh, is it just?
Yes,
And then PK back. Okay.
Let's look at this.
And then we're gonna rerun it in Management Studio, and then.
So I think this might be done.
Yeah, we'll cross our fingers. Oh, what is that? Yeah. You keep back schedule.
Maybe I haven't typed that. It was primary key, right?
The back schedule.
Wonder if I got.
Oh,
Oh, no, here.
Oh,
Well,
your
that's
back
the
schedule,
add.
back schedule key is what you have there, and we have back schedule and
Okay.
so you can either delete key and rerun it. I would just do that. Unless,
Delete the key.
yeah, the KY. And then rerun it.
But on the foreign key, that I have to change it.
Yeah, right. Looks good.
I'm a hot mess today. Okay,
Should be good. Yes.
so. Thank you
I like,
so
I
much.
like troubleshooting stuff like that. Alright.
Okay, now I know what to do.
Yeah, I think it's just naming convention. It was like something that I don't practice very well. To see how it would help in situations like that.
Yeah. Do you guys want to go on to the next stage or call it good for today?
It's the next stage.
Yeah.
It's the next stage. What?
Dude.
This one. Sure. Here. I get it. So it's a purchase. So scripted. Sure. So the shape on what does it say attach? Execute. Go ahead and try it.
It's actually pretty easy to do. I have the troubleshooting part
Yeah.
for this.
We
I'm sure it can get
project.
complicated.
But you would have approved them at all. The manager, it would have been easier to like see this description.
Yeah, yeah. Did you get yours on good one?
Not quite, because I don't, I was stuck way behind.
Oh,
Trying to put the puzzle things back together, so. I like SSIS so lot. I had to, the assignment that we had on it, I had to do it so many times over and over again. I got it fairly familiar.
oh yeah, I did too, actually. I had a bunch of errors.
It seems like when I screw up with something, it gets me at the end.
You end up learning more. Yeah.
I love your glasses.
Oh,
Great color.
it's kind of getting me they're like one prescription behind my reading, but I got an iPhone framework.
Oh, really?
You know, that kind of seems to store, but I need to get, I have a new framework. But they're the kind with the rubber pads on them, and so they kind of stick out. I like these ones. But I should wear them because they have the reading in the bottom and nothing on top. So like when I'm sitting here, it's much better.
So it's progressive.
They're progressive. Yeah, and then I have, so if I don't wear my contacts, then I have like the full on progressive one.
I've got like.
And it's really good.
They work for the most part. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because I mean, you can't like change which part of it.
yeah, are they just weighted so they're?
Oh, they're hard lenses.
Oh, they're hard.
Other reaching out.
Yeah. So, so far, the contacts, I have to wear ones.
Those are the ones.
And, yeah, and so they, but every once in a while they get
Oh, yeah.
evening.
You have to make your eyes roll noise for the.
Yeah, yeah, and like this morning, my eyes were really dry. And because I didn't drink enough water yesterday, and so I was working. Sorry. But eventually,
This is going to be very nice. So basically, go back to the stop this. We're gonna go back to the yeah, just run through all those actors. Just to see which ones If it doesn't, basically, they're delivering that. There's actually this.
Not key.
Now. Now you got Actually, should don't do the back to it. Is that what because you can't tell if you run them all at once, you have that. I guess let's do the cube on, and then next week we can do the country rates.
So is this automatically saved?
Yes.
Okay.
Although if you're, it wouldn't hurt to probably just save that. I think once it executes, it's saved.
Okay.
And the ideal thing to turn in would be the little green check mark.
But we wait until we do the second part, is that right?
Well,
Is this reaching its end?
yeah, I guess I didn't break it up for that.
Well,
No, we
actually.
didn't.
In this,
Yeah,
there's this, the cube, and creating the around.
but all in the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then never mind, whatever. If it ran once, it should run again. It should run as many times.
Okay.
So you don't do it. I'm working on it.
So, taking that.
So, where did it go?
No problem.
Other than this, so there's no big facts, but there's this fact. Get rid of it.
I can
stuck where I am. Yeah.
Go back to the screen. Yeah, this time should be.
You said you're gonna have to do it.
Well, possibly, or somewhere.
I'm down for pizza.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna go.
So right in days.
Right. Because then that's basically the same. Yes. It makes it expensive to drive. It's probably not bad. There's another. So you go back again.
Yeah, this time, yes. Usually, we can do it. We have done C-sharp class. So, sometimes it's easy, nothing semicolon, no reason. But you should learn Python because it's really very rare.
Yeah. So, yeah. You have, let's look at your. Which one? Okay. Actually, this would be the other question. Do we add a point key criteria?
Which one?
So over in the, description. So you got foreign key, foreign key, foreign key.
Is it not?
So you can look at that.
What are you doing?
Oh, your fault.
Huh?
Your fault.
It's well, okay. Hey, first, like, why you need to drop your constraint. Yeah. Then you truncate your truncate the table. Then you insert. Then you alter to headline.
So once you drop the
For,
foreign key.
for summarizing to the report or report?
No, this is basically data warehouse we are created. So the first one we did with query, the one in the SSIS one. And this one we are doing with SSIS.
This
So
one that is.
I want to check out.
it's the same thing. So everything we do is to drop those things, but
Okay.
so still we're having data on here.
Yeah.
That's right. These will not work.
Now let's try the other one and see.
So all data we have inserted into the RAM.
Just hold down.
I don't understand why this one is so,
So really,
yeah, this one not easily, this one.
I don't know. I don't think there's a.
Well, I was copying, I mean, well, not like that, but
Right.
I was eyeballing.
The thing is, once they fail, if they fail once, then there's the mismatch between the
The
keys.
original database.
Yeah, it is fixable, but it's such a pain. But sometimes it's easier just to.
Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. So we're gonna do the other parts of, oh, yours is still there?
Yeah. Drop and create the rank of the
Let's see what the error is.
the same as the OP.
So did you drop, let's look at your, look at that. Open up the script here. Dim schedule. You're using my script.
Yeah, okay,
Did you change it to Dim schedule? Okay, so that should be. So that should be fine. just want to close this down. So, where's that? It looked okay. Yeah, so let's look at the error again. So let's look at the error. Let's look at that. Are you running this as admin?
No.
Yeah, no, you have to run it as admin. That might be your error. That might have nothing to do with you.
So I thought it was,
I didn't say that, because ours are running admin automatically.
I thought it was maybe drop table or create table issue. So I, I created again, but here it's,
Oh, well, that's a possibility. There might be some errors there. So now you're at administrator. So let's see what happens when we do that. So it still failed. Did I say that? If you dropped it, so when you created it, it had errors.
yeah.
Let's look at it, see if it can be created. The database.
We talked to them.
Yeah.
So I think the database, so for example,
Actually, it drops it there. If you run this whole script from the top,
the database.
it should drop it. Let's go look at the top. So it says use master, if it exists. Control, drop it, control, create it, let's look at the bottom, do your policies. And then we can do it, that would be so,
And the other way to drop it.
Or you could right click on it. So drop it. You okay? Right, and then do a go after that. Not try running it on. So that time it worked. I think that the problem was that it was, we'd rather dial it faster. Yeah, it looks like it's, now try running everything. Yeah, stop it. I'm still good. I would have put it. think it's just your. So now for the where you're dropping it. I think one of your, you go back and then open up the first one. There it is. So there's a bus, there's down. Yeah. So there's a 20. Yeah, so it's just a few weeks. Now. Yeah. That one's okay, and then I think it's the one, which is up higher. Right. One, two, yeah, that's where it's been. Now, some of those pass. So start at the top of the, not at the top, but this is an altitude. So just do all of them. Just do the altitude. Just run them. Each one. Some of them will run one at a time. Otherwise, you won't have one. Just run one at a time. One altitude state right at a time. And the airs are fine. You want to run the whole thing. Because some of them exist and some don't. Because it did a partial deletion. So what we need to do is find out which ones exist. If it did yet, it's not going to exist. On each of those. See, some got dropped and some didn't. So you need to make sure you get it all. Now to go back. Try one more time. If we're lucky. What is it this time? Still got bus. I thought it was good. So then let's go back. I don't know if we need to go through everything, but let's go back up to let's go through the although I don't think we have to do all of them. But go ahead. I think it's Okay, good.
Thank you.
No, no problem. Those are a pain to debug.
Yeah.
Oh, I left the thing